Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Jay Shah, Vice President and Head Cultural Outreach Mahindra Group, Teamwork Arts, and the Meta Secretariat, a very warm welcome to Meta 2021. We've had a wonderful season of meaningful theatre and many conversations around it. Meta 2021 has been special, unique, and much needed. And so, we have extended this virtual celebration, a series of some more meta-winning powerful plays every week along with searching conversations. The stage will show us the way. Today's conversation will focus on the 2017 meta-winning play, I Don't Like It As You Like It, which will be followed by the play screening tomorrow at 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The tragic comic art of clowning. Rajat Kapoor, Aadar Malik, Faezeh Jalali, Rytasha Rathore, Cyrus Sahukar, Joy Fernandez, and Vinay Pathak, moderated by Puja, Sarup. I Don't Like It As You Like It is an adaptation of Shakespeare's As You Like It, explores the concepts of identity and relationships and how one affects the other through the tool of the play within a play. At its heart lies the unique, often tragic comic and yet deeply profound meaning clowns have traditionally brought into a narrative when they flit between onlooker and protagonist. The art of clowning, being cleverly stupid, inviting the audience to laugh at oneself, has always been the purest form of a collective theatrical experience. This conversation brings in these and more. Introducing to you our panelists for today. Rajat Kapoor knew very early on that he wanted to be in theatre and make films. Better known as an actor, Rajat is essentially a filmmaker, theatre director, and writer for whom theatre is a lifelong passion. He's one of the founder members of the Delhi-based group Chingari. Some of the plays he has directed over the last 30 years are Death Watch, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Hamlet the Clown Prince, Nothing Like Lear, What's Done is Done, and I Don't Like It As You Like It. Rajat is also a 3-time winner of the National Award for Cinema. Some of his films are Kapoor and Sons, Monsoon Wedding, Dil Chahta Hai, Mithya, Bheja Fry, among others. Aadar Malik is an actor, musician, stand-up comedian, improviser, having performed all over India and internationally for his shows. He is headlining comic at Comedy Store and the Canvas Laugh Club in Mumbai. Being a singer-songwriter, he often mixes songs and musical comedy as part of his stand-up routines. Starting off in theatre with Barry John's Baghdad Ka Ghulam, he also co-wrote the play Paper Mache Petals, which was one of the 4 plays selected from all over India for the Thesco Festival. Adar's comedy group also produced the Indian version of Reduced Shakespeare's Company's The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged, which premiered at the NCPA's Center Stage Festival in Mumbai. Faezeh is the founder and artistic director of FATS The Arts Mumbai. She is an award-winning actor, director, and writer, as well as a teacher, choreographer, activist, and aerialist. She has a Master of Fine Arts degree in performance from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Faezeh is a recipient of prestigious Tanveer Natya Dharme Puraskar 2017 for her contribution to the field. She has also been a Meta awardee for play performances in 2016, 17, and 18. Faezeh has been working professionally for several years on stage, in films, television, and more recently in web series. Rytasha juggles between acting and podcasting. Armed with a BA in acting, she hopes to play a myriad of characters in stories across the world in hope of making people feel less alone. You can listen to her innermost thoughts of Agla Station Adulthood, available wherever you get your podcasts. You can also see some of her acting talents on Netflix, Masaba Masaba, and on Amazon Prime. Our next panelist, Cyrus Sahukar. Cyrus is known for his brilliant comic wit, satirical comedy shows, and his ability to not just hold, but also engage an audience. Whether on radio, television, films, or live events, Cyrus Sahukar has always been a popular face in the Indian media. Cyrus had carved his own niche and literally spearheaded the youth comedy genre by hosting and fronting some of the best comedy content on Indian television. Vinay Pathak. Vinay is a Mumbai-based actor-writer who has been actively involved in Indian cinema and theatre for over 2 decades. Vinay is a theatre graduate from the State University of New York. Be it comic indulgence in films like Bheja Fry, Khosla Ka Ghosla, Chalo Dilli, Das Fidaniya, Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi, etc., or nuanced character sketches in Gaur Hari Dastan, Johnny Gaddar, Island City, Dust, Badlapur, or the recent Chintu Ka Birthday. Vinay believes in total honesty to his craft, be it theatre, film, or television. His critically acclaimed solo performance piece, Nothing Like Lear, an adaptation of Shakespeare's King Lear, has been traveling across the world to many venues and theatre festivals. In conversation with Puja Sarup. Puja is the co-founder of Patchwork Ensemble, a Mumbai-based theatre company. At Patchwork Ensemble, she has co-directed, co-written, and acted in the award-winning show Ila, as well as the critically acclaimed drag king show Gentleman's Club. Most recently, she has also devised and co-directed Fly By Night and Shikar. Having been active in theatre since 2003, her stage credits include Hamlet the Crown Prince, for which she won the Meta. Her films include Ye Ballet, The Sky is Pink, Sui Dhaga, Rangoon, and That Girl in Yellow Boots. Puja is also an acting coach and enjoys working with children as well. In this conversation, we'll also take up questions from the audience, so please feel free to send in your questions. Do follow our social media handles to be notified of the upcoming sessions and screenings and full schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the tragic comic art of clowning, Rajat Kapoor, Aadar Malik, Faezeh Jalali, Rytasha Rathore, Cyrus Sahukar, Joy Fernandez, and Vinay Pathak, moderated by Puja Sarup. Puja, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to talk to friends / co-clowns, colleagues about the tragic comedy, tragic comic art of clowning. It's quite a miracle.
Hi, Puja.
Hi, Rajat.
Hi,
Puja. I have clearly taken on a really difficult task of saying I will moderate this, because how do you moderate like a bunch of clowns? So wish me luck. But let's get straight into it. Let's dive in. I'm going to start with asking you, Rajat, like a little about the process. Yes. And so there's something about this combination of Shakespeare and clowning that really excites you, because this is what your fifth clown production, but like fourth Shakespeare mixed with clown. So what is it? What is making you curious and excited about this combination?
You know how Hamlet the Clown Prince started. Before that, we'd done C for Clown, and I had no relationship with Shakespeare till we did Hamlet the Clown Prince. But after doing the clown show, C for Clown, the idea was there that what would happen if clowns were to interpret a classical text. First, I thought of Greek tragedy, and then we did some meetings with that also. But then settled on Hamlet the Clown Prince. I had no idea how that play will finally be. What are we going to do? How does it help to bring clowns into it? We had no idea. And you were part of the process. You know very well that every day we would just try a little scene from the play, from the original text, and see how it could be played with clowns, or how could we look at that scene in a new light. And somehow we arrived at something which worked. And I thought that was it. That was the plan, was not to do many Shakespeare plays. But then 3 or 4 years after that, we did Nothing Like Lear. And to make it look very different from Hamlet, I decided we'll do it with one actor. And it worked in some other ways. And then I think I got greedy. And then this idea was exciting. What if we have 4 Shakespeare plays all done by clowns running simultaneously? So that's when Macbeth and As You Like It happened. But for me, like I said, I have no relationship. I had no relationship with Shakespeare. For me to do these plays is a way of understanding the text a little better. It is because I had realized also that Shakespeare you don't really get when you read it. When you watch a play, you understand a little more, and when you actually do a play of his, that's when you really understand it, or make meanings for yourself from that text.
Thanks. And then I remember, Rajat, talking to you before you even hit the rehearsal floor for I Don't Like It, As You Like It, and you had 2 like seeds of ideas. One was that the clown company creates a piece of music together, right? Like that's one image you had, and the other one was that at some point the female actors swap clothes, and the men like they swap clothes and the characters change. So the men become women, the women, like this sort of drag show happening in front of the audience. Like I remember you talking about this. So just
because the play has Rosalind playing Rosalind, who's the lead actress, lead character in the play, playing dressing up as a boy in the forest as Ganymede, and then Ganymede meets Rosalind meets a lover, Orlando, and now she's dressed up as Ganymede, but she's asking her lover, okay, I'll play a woman for you, and so you can woo your girlfriend. So woo me like you would woo Rosalind. So I thought that linked to this idea of really men playing women and so on. But it's an initial, impetus into the play. You don't really know. So it's a start, and then you get together with a bunch of very, very talented clowns, and then they take you till the end.
Yeah, so that's the exciting thing, right? Like it's that one little kida you have, and because you have this, you have access to this amazing bunch of clowns, and they play with it, and they give life to it, and you start building, aage piche side everything. So I think my next question is this: like, how did you manage to get this bunch together? This mad bunch.
Well, out of this bunch, actually, Vinay is an old collaborator, and so is Joy. Vinay and Joy are both part of C for Clown, so they go to the mothership of clown plays for me. Aadar, Cyrus, Rytasha, Faezeh, Shruti Vyas, all the other 5 clowns. I hadn't worked with them at all, so it was my first time.
We had to audition, and there were lots of people who showed up for this open call because Rajat never posts on Facebook, I'm auditioning for a new play. So I remember like 300 people at this place. I was like, what is going on? Okay.
Yeah, Rytasha, please. Yeah, we want to know more about that, like that audition process.
I mean, it was really hectic. I remember because it was an open call, so lots of people showed up. Of course, everyone wants to work with Rajat Kapoor, but not everyone wants to be a clown, no? So we were going into the first process of auditions. Everyone goes into the room 3 by 3, and you just have to show your gibberish or kuch nahi. So that was the first kind of filtering process. Now we will filter out the actors who are maybe not so good at gibberish. Then from there, the real stress began for me. This is all my personal experiences, guys. It was a delight overall, but the first week I was like, what is this process? I had never been part of something like that, because day after day we would go, and Rajat would be like, here, now this is a prop, now do something. You bring your own prop and you have to just do scenes, and everybody is like, it was a clown fest, essentially, but not only 7 of us, there were like 20 people, and then that kept getting lesser and lesser, and I thought, this is over for me. I'm going to get a heart attack in this process, so I should leave. But then he told me, it's okay, you're in the place. I was like, thank God! Yeah,
but there is a lot of truth in that. It was nothing I'd experienced before. There were about 20, even after all these, sort of 300 cut down to 2025 for about 2.5 weeks, if I'm right. Every day for 3 to 4 hours, there were such incredibly talented people in that room, and they were asked to just come up with stuff. There was no framework of it. There was no in and out. So it's like almost like you're falling constantly without any brace, without anything, and you're just sort of jumping. It was a lot of faith and a lot of high stress, and it's a process that you also feel weird about, because you really have no structure or frameworks. You don't know where it's going. I don't know what Rajat's looking for.
No, it's true, but I must say, Puja, interrupt these guys. I really think it's one of the most difficult things to do for actors, and really those of us who can do it are just brilliant. I'm not saying that these actors are better than other actors, but this is a very specialized skill set, to start with no text at all, and not only no text, but no idea, like Sarah said, of where you're going.
Yeah. So there's no one to blame. There's no one you can really, you like an out. I like an out. Like you can blame somebody. This writing was not nice, or this guy. But here you're just throwing stuff in the air, and sometimes you can never replicate it. It was quite magical. I think the process was, if supposing at the end of those 2 weeks I never got chosen, there would be no regret, at least because the process was so magical and bizarre and therapeutic and weird, that you may not experience that kind of an audition or that kind of a collective again. It's tough to find that.
Yeah.
Like, improvising. Sorry. Yeah.
Any other go. And after that, Faezeh.
So improvising was fun, right? Like I'd come from like doing a lot of improv shows, and I'd kind of seen the process that Rajat was, because we were doing Piya Berupiyar, and that was like, it was a very weird process with Piya Berupiyar, where we had text and there was too much text, and we are trying to chop it down. And in this case, it was more comfortable for me to come with nothing in hand. But after the first few weeks of the workshop and like getting the play together, I think in the last week or like 2 weeks before the show, I think Cyrus and I panicked because we were finding nothing funny. And the thing is, since there's no script to blame, the actors are going to get blamed. So that is what scared us the most.
Yeah, it was like actors working in a comedy but in their own suspense film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was suspense horror.
Yeah.
Because you're 2 weeks away from a really pretty large, setup, and it's everybody's going to come watch it. But even the actors don't know what they're going to watch. Like, I think that there's a monologue in the play. I think we scribbled that 5 to 7 days, 10 days max,
4 days before the show.
4 days before the show, scribbled on like just random stuff. So it was incredible.
Yeah, but that is the most exciting part, I think, of this kind of process.
Absolutely.
And the scariest. And it's scary not only for the actors. I'm sure it's very scary for the actors. It's scary for me as well, because you really don't know where you're going to end up with it. It might be shit. It might be really terrible show. As a show also, you're not sure what kind of show you're going to end up with. You'll only find out when the curtain goes up on the first night, Yeah, but I think it's a risk worth taking every time, and I would do it every time.
Yeah.
Sorry, Faezeh, it was your turn.
No, I was just going to say that when I wrote to Rajat, I said, I heard you having this, and he's like, yeah, sure, come. I was so, actually, for me, this process was right after 777, which was like morbid, tragic, everything. And I was like, oh my God, I just want to get
And you were like, more of the same with this.
And do something fun. So for me, the audition process was really fun. Actually, I remember walking up Pali Hill, walking to Rajat's house with a palm leaf in my hand, like a huge palm leaf, okay, for one of the improvs, because he said, bring something. So I had this huge palm leaf. I'm walking down Pali. I get into his house with this enormous freaking branch and leaf, literally a big palm leaf. I had no idea what the hell it is. He was like, what is this? I said, for the improv. So I just remember going a bit berserk with that audition process, because it was actually just off doing 777, and for me it was a relief, because A, I was not directing, B, I was acting, C, there was nothing I was responsible for. So I was just like, for me it was the opposite process. Like, it was
That's so, it's really important to talk about this, because I think what the audience sees finally, and they say, oh, like the dard of the clown and the joy of the clown, but what the actors go through in making this, I think that says a lot about this tragic comedy of clowning, like these experiences. Sorry, Vinay, you were saying something.
I was saying, yes, everything that everybody said was true. But for me, it was, I think as you like it, I don't like it. In all of the Rajat's plays that I had worked, it was the most challenging, because knowing Rajat, yes, text is there. So now what? And I know he says that all the time. That, yeah, we have read the text. Now what? What do we do with it? And in order to figure out what to do with it, we went everywhere, all around the globe and nowhere. And and then we're still figuring it out. And it was so scary and at the same time so exciting because every day people would come to the rehearsal with strange things like branch or I remember Cyrus the first time he brought the socks, the talking socks, and I just didn't know what else to bring because everybody.
Aadar got his bloody guitar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I knew how to play
Ukulele,
guitar, so he
And he
got
would sing.
ukulele
I mean,
and
what
something.
horror.
Yeah. And so I remember I couldn't think of anything, so I brought a hula hoop. And hula hoop was not something that I was very good at. So I thought I might as well just clown through it.
And Vinay, you should
and-
also mention that you pushed a child and stole his hula hoop. You didn't actually get your own.
Right.
It's important to know this about
I
Vinay.
pushed my own children and took that. But what I'm saying is that every day, when the rehearsal would start, no clue what we were doing, and by the time it would end, we'll make little sense of what we have done. I mean, we all knew what the text was, but how we going to do what we're going to do? I mean, out of nowhere there came a catwalk in the play, and the catwalk was, we thought, okay, this will happen, that will happen, but when you have to take your clothes off, right, at center stage, and at the same time, other actors are trying to, hide, their underwear and their, like, it was a madhouse.
Yeah.
And I think after the point, everybody stopped clowning and we were actually awkward. Nobody was clowning at that point. That, are we hiding what we're showing? And it was really bizarre, but also fun because we got pushed. We got pushed all the way to the wall, and then we had to come up with something. I still, at times, during shows, I get very nervous. It's like, what's going to happen? What if some of the actors forget the line and somebody forgets so many props that are there? And it still happens, but I guess the show goes on.
So this catwalk that you mentioned, I was watching the play last night, and I mean, now when you're talking about it and you're talking about the awkwardness of the actor, etc., like you actually don't get a sense of it when you see it in the play. And it's also because it's supported so beautifully by the costumes and the set, like visually it's a treat actually. Maybe we can, Suraj, can we have the second clip, please? We just see a bit of this catwalk that Vinay just mentioned.
Oh boy.
Thank you. So
See,
yeah,
watching it also makes me awkward.
Yeah, it's tense. Watching it makes me tense because I have to remove my pant exactly and throw it exactly the way, because then if Faezeh tries to wear it and it gets stuck, then Faezeh is stuck on stage. So it just makes you tense when you see that and I hear that music.
But you did a fabulous job, you guys. Like, it seems pretty effortless when you watch it in the play. It's actually a beautiful part of the play. I want to come to you, Vinay. You're like you're in the clown marathon. You've been in this, like, C for Clown. That was the first one, and then you're there in all of them, right?
Right.
So yeah, like how, and I know I've seen you on days when you have shows, like you have Hamlet now, and then you have Lear the same day, like right after. Like it's crazy the kind of thing you put yourself through for this. So I just want to know, where does that Josh come from? Like why? Yeah, why do you do that? Why?
All for Rajat. They're besties.
Well, I mean, you could say there is a sadistic pleasure in that, torturing yourself and doing it. But then theater is like that. Like our friend Mackie B, every time he has to go on stage, he actually goes and pukes, and I know that for sure. Ranveer pukes every time he has to go on stage. And every time he pukes comes out like, I don't know why the hell I do it. And he does it. And
you're not supposed to reveal secrets about
I'm just saying that, I mean, we all go there. I also get nervous, but I think it's about being in the present, and because it's something that one loves to do, and I'd rather not do anything but this. Also, wanting to be part of the process that Rajat has started with C for Clown, and I, as I said, I just have been fortunate to being there at the right time, the right place, the right days when some of the other actors are absent and I'm present, and that way. So yeah, I don't have an intelligent answer to that, honestly. It's because it's there, and I got lucky every time, except for Hamlet the Clown Prince, which again,
Well,
I lucked
you did
out
gate crash
eventually.
that party, yeah. You got in.
Yeah,
Cool.
eventually.
So I mean, when I'm looking at this grid in front of me right now, and I see like okay, like different kinds of comedy that like everybody's into. Like there are elements of stand-up, there's physical training. Everybody comes with like a different background. So I just want to know, how did you guys, like in this process, like when you were working in this, how did you find your clown, or how did you understand clowning? Who wants to go first? Cyrus, you want to jump in?
Man, for me, it's like I don't know if I've still found it at all, because it was all very new for me. And most of the times you just want to be like it's like, it feels a little bit like you're part of like a circus troupe or something of very talented performers, and some days they carry you, some days you jump around and find stuff. But I must say the entire process of I must say it's a really beautifully there's a beautiful culture to it, which I think trickles down from Rajat, which is of really getting each other's back, for caring about the other performers. It's a little different from a normal play because everybody's always on stage. I still at times don't know how Vinay does all of them back to back, because it's so physically demanding. Like, it's physically tiring. It's 90 minutes of jumping around everywhere. For me, I don't know if I found my clown or my clown just happened. You know what I mean? But then after happening, I realized that there was I was like sort of almost like creating people I knew, or people I'd gone, people very close to me, or aspects of myself which I may not have even dealt with. So, because he's quite a melancholic, sort of grumpy, but not improved on anything, but also living with his own guilt kind of character, who also has an imaginary hand puppet he talks to. So it's quite a complex psychiatrist's dream kind of character. But I don't think I was capable enough to get into it and know how to find a clown. I think that I went along for the ride, and in that process, I kind of found this, rather than anything else. And like people, looking at people like you, Puja, you were so amazing when I first came and saw this entire play because it's got a vibe of its own. It's not like any other play, and I walked in without knowing too much about it. I was just blown away by the way it's done. It's like I feel like as an audience member, I was also part of the act, especially when I saw it at Prithvi Theatre, because it's so intimate. Then I'm like, I should also perform. I should also clap in a certain way, and it was beautiful. And you were so incredible when I first saw you. That I think you get inspired, and then everybody carries each other on a good or bad day.
Yeah, I remember watching Puja during my first few years of doing theatre in Hamlet, the Clown Prince.
Yeah, same.
And little did I know, but it was a fantastic thing, because from that I went on to trying to produce the complete works of William Shakespeare, and from there to then having Puja's hand on my back because I was a little under rehearsed, and Puja actually nudging me every time my line is about to come in Hamlet. So it was a very a very surreal experience the first time, and the bench broke once with Puja and I on stage. We were performing in Gujarat or somewhere, and both of us are sitting on the bench, and the bench broke, and both of us we were in clown makeup, so it's funny. Two clowns toppled on top of each other. Neil went and fixed the bench. We started doing the show again. The bench broke again, and we fell again. Rajat is on stage. It's one of those weird moments where Rajat is also on stage performing with us. So there's a lot of stuff that is going wrong, and Rajat is not there behind it. Rajat is on stage, so we're worried about that also. So
you were worried, man. I was worried.
Yeah, because you refuse to do it. But half the time, it's Rajat is actually the director while he's playing Popo in Hamlet. And at times you would forget that he has a cue because he's worried about how the others are performing.
Yeah.
And Rajat remembers everything. It's very disturbing. I've never
scary.
worked with anybody who knows your line, their line, what you missed, what action you missed, what you said. Dear Lord.
Yeah. It's true, Rajat. You have, I think, with all the clown shows, created this sense of it's a family. We're all we feel we're part of a family, and I know that's very crucial, very important for you.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why you do this.
Correct.
And it's so wonderful that play after play that stays. It doesn't disappear. So,
it's the most fun traveling and performing.
Yeah.
But it's also, I would like to know from Rajat, how do you remember everybody's line from all the plays?
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
Hoffman in that film with Tom Cruise.
If we saw as many shows as I do, you would too.
But there's another wonderful quality that Rajat has, which is when he's if you watch Rajat watching a play, if you watch him watch I Don't Like It As You Like It, it feels like this is the first time he's watching it. Every single time. I don't know how he does that. How do you do that, Rajat? How do you watch the same play you have directed, you've seen every rehearsal, and every show you still...
It's a bit same, the process for me in the editing of a film also. And I don't know how one manages that, but I'm able to do that, because every time you're watching your edit and you made a few changes, you have to watch it like you're watching it for the first time, and let it so that you can feel the work and know what is working or what is not working. And anyway, the play is so much fun, and also the play, unlike a film, it is never the same. It is really never the same. So you are watching a new show, meaning you are watching a new play. And then especially with actors like these, and who improvise all the time, who will not give up a chance for a new laugh, a new joke, chalo maro, So the play changes every day.
Aadar, sorry, you're saying something? Yeah.
So I don't know if the other actors did this, when you were talking about people coming from different backgrounds in performance. I categorically stopped myself from trying to do anything that I knew from before. If you look at stand-up, so I was looking for jokes only. In Hamlet, there's a lot of stuff which is commentary on the text, if you realize, which is in a way in my head, because I do that so often when I'm on stage, which is observational comedy, stand-up comedy in those cases. So I completely restricted myself and disallowed myself from doing that. which was this now try to find jokes only within the context of the play. And I think that's where the clown I think it became a very strong segregation for me when I go on stage with these plays now. So I think like restricting myself from what I could easily do, except for the music, but the music also changed. It's a different kind of music that I played in the show.
Right. And
I must say that there are some people who have an innate proximity to a clown thing, you know. And if you don't have it, it's very, very hard to pretend and to be a clown. And we've been very lucky to have found many, many, many wonderful actors over the last 20 years who are just incredible clowns. I mean, all of you, Puja, Vinay, Rytasha, Cyrus, Faezeh, Aadar, Joy, who's not there right now. Absolutely great clowns. And Neil Bopalam and Namit Das. I mean, these are phenomenal clowns. Yeah, and if you were to ask me what does that mean, I still don't know what that means. Except maybe an ease with the body, a nimbleness of the mind, you know, an ability to look at things on a tangent almost, you know, from a different perspective, you know, which either you have or you don't have, and you can't pretend to have it.
Yeah, I think for me, because I was from the outside, I hadn't done any clowning. That's exactly it. The environment created by Rajat, where you can have a bizarre, tangential, bizarre thought, and then everybody turns around and goes with that thought, as opposed to saying nothing or not acting upon it. And that thought could be, I am, you know, there's a tap and it's leaking, and now there's an alien invasion. Should we fix the tap or should we get abducted? And then everyone's like, that is great. And they're going. So there's no judgment. And in a room where there's no judgment, no assumption, wow, it's absolutely, it's a crazy environment, which it's so removed from your day-to-day life, right? Where we're always critical, thinking, judging, acting. Boom, there's no judgment. You remove judgment from a room and it's magic. Magic happens. And then you have Rajat, who has, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he has that level of structure or that understanding of what will go where and how it may work, because that's beyond my understanding. But thank God for that. Otherwise, as Aadar said, you can have a minor coronary attack in stress, saying this is not making sense. And Vinay's tea parties must be saluted. He is the...
Sometimes
I don't know if I'm there for the play or for the tea party.
I just stumbled upon the answer. I do it for the tea party. I have no stronger reason to do the plays, but for the tea party, because
Vinay, you have to tell the audience doesn't know what are these tea parties. You have to give us a little, like, what are these tea parties?
Come on, Mr. Pathak.
I think since
after every show, especially when we're traveling out of Bombay, after every show we have dinner. We are very tired. Vinay sometimes has done 2 shows in that evening of different plays, and he woke up crying in the morning and saying, I can't go through this again. But after the 2 shows, he's full of energy, and so then we all land up at Vinay's room. It's normally the biggest room because we know we are all going to land up there tonight. And then he doesn't stop making tea for the next 4 to 5 hours, and he does not sit down. Suddenly he's got energy, and he would make it, bring it to you, then take your cup and wash it again and make another round, and it goes on till 4 in the morning. And when we try and escape the tea party, he says, one more.
And types of teas, depending on mood, preference, emotional setup.
In test tubes, and they come in test tubes. It's a weird test tube system that we got.
Some bizarre, like one opens up into a flower also when you apply hot water to it. There's a lot going on there. And but here's the thing, right? So, for example, if you're not part of a troupe and you're joining any new gang in life, everybody goes to that like awkward feeling that maybe I shouldn't turn up there. I'll stick to my own room. I really think that Vinay is, because he's in every play, he is this magical glue. He's this sticky, gummy creature that brings everyone together, and everybody agrees on him, even though we don't agree on anything else. And it's quite magical, because me, I'm always traveling alone. I work a lot on my own. To be part of that feeling of that troupe and a lot of his tea parties and the conversations that move on, it's beautiful, man. And I think that then transfers to the work.
Did you guys notice how much Rytasha has said without saying a word, with her gestures? So much, Rytasha.
Yes,
that's a clown now.
See, in case people have us on mute.
Rytasha never attends any tea parties ever.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Okay.
Questions. Late on rehearsals.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give us a goss.
I'm on time for the tea. I'm on time for the tea.
Super. Thank you. We are going to take some questions now from the audience. So Kirti Sharma asks, how do you feel or react when audiences don't respond to certain comic dialogues or elements?
Who wants to go?
Superb. Well, everyone's gone through it.
You feel like shit.
Yeah, you feel horrible. But
you can't be dwelling on that because you have to keep going on. The play is not stopping.
That's the great part, right? Then you move on to the next line. It's like, this was never a punch line. It's a setup for somebody else's punchline. You fools. That is what you do.
Also,
I just ignore it. I just ignore it. I think what I've learned in all these years, just ignore it. If they haven't laughed, and because if one is always expecting for the laughter to come, and then there would be times that wouldn't come, the fall would be greater. So I just ignore it. Suddenly I'm like, I don't care. It's a rehearsal. La 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 la. Keep on going, and let the laughter come if it comes. Because there have been times we are performing on foreign waters, and the audiences have come to see Bollywood actors do Bollywood thingies, and then suddenly they're watching this clown show and they don't find it funny. They are offended sometimes, or the audience members are not in good mood, in all senses. And we have heard those also from the audience. Best thing is to ignore.
Yeah.
There are some of course, there are good shows and bad shows, and sometimes what normally works may not work on a bad day. Well, that's okay. But if a thing fails every show, gag fails, which you thought would be funny, but it doesn't work, then the good thing with theatre is that you can still work on it, and maybe after 10 shows you find the right place for it, or you edit it out, or you say that it wasn't a joke anyway, it's a deep thought.
Sorry, Cyrus, you're saying something about this?
I sometimes find myself having a dialogue with the audience which is imaginary, saying, "Is pe has liya aur us pe nahi hase." Ye kya bakwas hai? I mean, come on, guys, raise your level. What is this bullshit? So in my head, while doing the play, that's also happening. The evil judge in me is like, "Bro, what's up, man? What's up?" You don't even laugh. You're like just sitting there. You don't get this, and you got this stupid slip pen on. So yeah, that also happens sometimes.
Okay, thanks. Moving on to the next question. Anita Kashyap asks, has it ever happened that your fellow actor has had to improvise and you had to follow suit?
Yes.
Play mein to kuch zyada hi hota hai.
Yes. No, in Macbeth once I jumped 2 pages and Vinay started improvising and trying to remind me, Aadar, if you don't say these things, the context of the next 4 scenes is gone. So it was so awesome. And I'm going there like, oh, what did I miss? And Vinay suddenly reminding me on stage. And I think I genuinely got surprised midway through the dialogue. Oh yes. And it was such a haphazardly done. But I don't think the audience realizes sometimes. And I think that's what you end up getting away with if you've done it enough. Then you can catch those subtle cues that your co-actor is sending your way. And it does happen when you're doing like I'm surprised doesn't happen with Vinay more often. I think now I know why Vinay holds his scripts with to his chest when he's roaming around backstage.
Oh, no, no, no,
Because
no. Bigger ones have happened. Once I forgot the big key to put in my pocket.
oh
And there was a big moment in the play when I take the big key out and I say, and
I
have the
say,
keys for it.
look at the size of that key.
That's the key.
And he doesn't have the
There's
key.
no
Suddenly,
key.
there's no key.
suddenly, just before the key, I'm saying, oh my God, there is no key. And then I'm making my hand into a key.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
hand is getting bigger. And I'm saying, look
Yeah.
at the key. And Cyrus is saying, oh my God,
No,
look at this key.
my problem with it was not the fact that he forgot the key. My problem with it was I was standing right next to him for 3 whole minutes before that scene happened, where at not one point would he tell me, listen, I forgot the key, so just kind of like, don't bring it up. Nothing. Not a mention.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are many. This is from I Don't Like It As You Like It, right? The keys
Yes.
It's here. And I mean, every play has so many moments.
Even
Like
this
this,
changing on stage, yeah. In this changing on stage, I've messed up my clothes so many times. Once, so very badly. I didn't have any clothes only to wear. Just running around, anything hiding.
Oh yeah, you showed up in your underwear. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
man,
just
I
showed up
forgot to
on
wear.
stage.
I showed up in my underwear. I completely
Yeah.
blacked out, and then I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
I don't think that's the video we're showing tomorrow.
Oh no!
Thank God.
You're safe. Okay, next one. Sudhir Tandon asks, with constant improvisations going on all the time during the rehearsals, how did you keep track or record of changes for the actual performance?
Rajat's photographic memory, I think.
Yeah.
Because like literally 4 days before the show, he just goes like, "Da, da, 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 da." He just matches all the dots and he's like, oh, you could have told this to us weeks ago, Rajat. Why are you doing this stuff?
Yeah, so no, what one does is try to pick up the out of the 3-4 hours of rehearsal, you find, let's say, 3-4 good minutes, of material that you can use. That becomes like a building block, and you keep that. Next day you kind of repeat it and start building on that and try new stuff and find 2-3 minutes from that. So it's really finding these pieces of the building blocks, and then the play makes its appearance in a month and a half or 2, slowly. And then you start seeing the shape that it's taking, because you don't have the idea of the shape when you start. It appears to you as you go along. And it appears, you arrive at it because of improvisation.
We have another one. Ashish Datta asks, was it easier or more difficult to perform a play that had elements of clowning vis-a-vis other genres?
I think, at least from acting point of view, it is very, very difficult. I think it's more difficult than other forms, but I don't know. Other actors might have a different opinion. They might think that this is just clowning around and so easy. In my opinion, that it is very hard, because, like we said earlier, because you're starting with no text and you're starting with no idea of where you're going. When you know where you're going, I think it makes things easier, safer, and so less challenging, I feel. When you're saying I'm going to take a bigger risk and not know what we end up with, it's more exciting for sure, and it's more difficult.
Let's just put it this way: like every actor who I've met who has said that I would love to do theater like this is probably on the cast of one of these plays. Every other actor that I've actually met has been like, I like it, but I will never even attempt this. I'm too scared of it. Every other actor who said I want to do this is already part of this cast. No one else have I met who said like, oh, I'm brave enough to do this. It's a question of legitimate fear, and great actors. Some incredible actors were like, I don't want to do this. It's too scary.
And I want to say something. I also think that the very aspect of being really sincere to your fool is the hard part, because whoever we are, we think we have a certain intelligence, and we think we look at certain things in a certain way. We have our own worldview and stuff, and then you go out there and you have to submit everything and you have to be the fool. But you have to be the fool in all sincerity. You cannot fool being the fool.
You can't
if
fake
you know
it.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that is the hard part, that you have to retain the honesty of being the fool as well, and that is exciting and very endearing. And yeah, it's not as easy.
A little digression. Who remembers a couple of times that Puja came for the rehearsals of As You Like It right in the beginning?
I remember when she drove this
She was
board.
mad. She was mad.
Yeah.
She was plucking up trees, throwing trees away, and
Correct.
gunning people down.
Correct.
Remember
Yes,
Puja?
I remember.
Yeah, and guys, I'm not in the play, so I guess I didn't make it. Okay, last question before we wrap up. So Shreya Ishani asks, what do you think is the future of theatre? What is the future? What is the future, guys? Also, all of you have worked with other mediums, so which one do you enjoy the most?
Future of what? I'm sorry?
Theatre. Future of theatre.
Future of theatre. Well,
we're discussing it on Zoom, so here is point number one. And we have to accept it, and we have to be optimistic and hopeful. And I am very hopeful, and the future of theatre would be there as much as the future of everything else in these trying times. And I'm sure things would get back to normal, and theatre would come back.
Cool, thanks. Anybody else wants to jump in? And which medium do you enjoy, since you're dabbling with film and OTT, etc.?
for me, I'm sorry for jumping in. I waited for you to start, but okay. Film and theatre are so very different from each other, Puja, for me. And that is a great joy, because they're so different. On one hand, you feel with a film that this will live, even 20 years after you're dead, somebody will watch it, So that's nice about it. With theatre, what is also very nice is the complete opposite, is that it dies every day, and there's a great joy in that it lives for 90 minutes when the audience is watching it, and then it dies and you let go, and that's also very beautiful. And when you close a play, it's really like a friend has passed away and you said goodbye, which is heartbreaking, but it also, that's the process of theatre. So they're very different kind of joys that the two medium have. And I won't give up one for the other ever. That's for sure.
The stage is always a special place. Will always be a special place. So I think it's going to be. Now we can't do one without the other. The thing is, like, it's all going to get amalgamated to a certain degree, especially after the lockdown. Like we're on Zoom discussing theatre and like putting out plays. Hamilton, we just watched Hamilton online, and so it's absolutely fun. But the instant gratification that this is something every theatre actor does. That instant gratification you can't get anywhere else. Actor versus director's medium. Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay. Rytasha, would you like to?
I mean, the thing I love the most about stage is rehearsal. That's the most special thing for me, to get to work with a group of actors, and that's something I've never experienced on a camera medium set thing. Like, yeah, you do readings and all, but that actually creating, learning, discovering along the way, I think that's one of the most special things about theatre. I love it. Thanks.
Cool. Cyrus, you have something to share?
No, I think they pretty much covered every aspect of it. And I think in theatre, you can't hide, or you don't have any other tools to sort of save yourself, you can't go to your, like, say a line, go to your room, wind out of a situation and sort of come back. This is it, you're there. And especially in plays like these where you never, I don't think I step off stage. I think I step off stage for like 5 minutes or 4 minutes And otherwise, most of us are on stage all the time. So where do you hide? Where do you lie? It's a pretty honest, straight up relationship, which is why I always ask people, like, what do you do on a bad day or a rough day, or you've come with a lot of drama and hoo-ha-ha, and how do you then activate the clown in you? That's something that I always find very, very strange. I always ask a lot of people I work with also, how do you summon your talent or your clown at will? You know what I mean? On a good day, great, very nice. But I've always, that question's always plagued me. I've always asked everybody about it, because once you're there, you can't lie about it, you can't escape it, and everybody is with you in it. But it's a very pure sort of experience, you know. But you can't really compare mediums; they're so different. But that's
I have a very strange relationship to what Cyrus just said. For me, it has happened in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, is that when it comes to stage, no matter how bad or good day I'm having, the very fact that one reaches the theater just before the show, I suddenly feel that now I'm sorted. I'm in good hands because now there's a show coming. I could be having, a terrible day, and then, if you have a show that day, somewhere deep inside in me knows that, okay, it's going to be fine because we have a show.
It's almost like that predictability makes you feel a certain level of safety. Like, this is 100% what we're doing over the next 2 hours, and we're doing it together. Is that it?
Yeah, and also the fact that it has to happen. There is no confusion or doubt about that event. I know that there's a 6 o'clock show and 9 o'clock show. You can't run away from it. So once I submit to it, for me, it's nothing but happiness. I'm having a terrible day, and then I woke up, and and it's whatever, and then I come there. It's like, now from now until 11:30 when we wrap,
this is it.
Nothing's gonna touch me.
Correct.
This is it, and it's gonna be joy.
Right.
With people around and doing what you love to do. It's very therapeutic for me.
Yeah, it's tremendous safety. Like, I know 20 years from now, King Lear is my retirement plan. So that is what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank
Pooja.
Thank you, Puja.
Thank you, Puja.
Thank you. Over to Suraj to give us details about when can we watch the show, which is tomorrow. Over to you, Suraj. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajat, Aadar, Faezeh, Rytasha, Cyrus, and Vinay for such a fascinating and
thank you, Suraj. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Puja, for moderating it so seamlessly and also making it like a fun reunion party. We missed Joy and Shruti, but I hope we are able to receive all of you in person soon. But thank you so much for being part of Meta 2021 online series. Once again, we'd like to thank Mahindras for their unstinted support for arts. And thank you all for watching and being a great audience. Hope this session sparked your curiosity to watch the play tomorrow. If you like this conversation, please comment, share, and spread the word. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the notifications of the upcoming plays and live conversations. All these conversations will be available to view on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Please do not forget to log back at 7 p.m. IST tomorrow for the screening of I Don't Like It As You Like It, directed by Rajat Kapoor and produced by Cinematograph. Thank you once again, and see you all tomorrow. Good night.